Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, I'm here today for PAPERTREY Ink, and I'm excited to share a project with you using a couple brand new items over the PAPERTREY Ink shop. These have just arrived, and I think you're going to fall in love with them. I'm going to be using the Tears of Cheer Valentine stamp set, along with the coordinating die set. And then also, we're going to be using the Lots of Hugs stamp set. This also has a coordinating die set that you can cut out the hugs too in the banners here. So we're going to be using this for our sentiment. Now I do want to mention that this is actually meant to accompany the Tears of Cheer stamp set that came out in last month's release. Let me show you what that looks like. This is the regular Tears of Cheer, and it's meant for the holiday season, but this can accompany it because all of these little elements will fit on this tier here, which makes it really nice. There's some accents that will fit on the mugs that you could use, and so you can interchange them, which makes it really nice. So this is kind of an add-on set. Although we're not going to be using the Tears of Cheer set today, I do want to share with you that just because this is meant to accompany the Tears of Cheer, this is great on its own too. So we're going to start by doing a little bit of stamping first off, and die cutting actually. This is a small 3x4 stamp set, but it packs a lot of punch. I'm going to go ahead and just keep my dies together, and I'm going to die cut out quite a few of these panels. We'll start with one and I'll do the rest off camera. But I'm going to die cut this out just using my die cut machine, and then we'll do some stamping on our die cut images. I ran it through my die cut machine, and they can punch out really easy, but now we're going to do a little bit of stamping. For today's card, I'm going to be using the X and the O. Now for my X's, we're going to stamp with pure poppy ink. And I will just ink this up, and I'm going to stamp directly on my cutout paper here. Or you could separate them. Let's separate them here. We're going to be using the X, the O, the little banner here, and then there's two cute little birds we're going to use also. We'll use these, and I can always keep this in the package and use these for another card project. So we'll start with our X using pure poppy ink. And I'm just going to stamp directly on it. And it stamps lovely. And then for my O, we are going to stamp with Berry Sorbet ink. And I will ink this up, and we'll stamp directly on our O. And our O is good to go. So we have an X and an O. I'm actually going to do this. We're going to create 5 X's and 5 O's to make 10 in total. To make our little swag, it's very easy to do. I have classic craft ink, and in our stamp set there's some dash lines here. I'm going to pick that up first. Since this is a thinner stamp, what I like to do is kind of drop it and then pick it up with an acrylic block. This way it keeps its shape. I'm going to ink up this little dash line piece with classic craft ink. And we'll stamp this right on top of our little banner there. Once we have that done, we're going to stamp a few hearts. And then using Hawaiian Shores ink, I'm going to ink this up, and we'll stamp this right on our little banner here. And I'm going to skip the middle one, and then we're going to add limeade ice to that. And then we have a cute little banner. I'm going to make another one of these also. Now we're going to keep our Hawaiian Shore and our limeade ice inks out, because those are the colors that we're going to use for our birds here. So let's start by taking, there's 2 birds in this little stamp set, and I'm going to take both of them and put them on an acrylic block. The base of our bird will be Hawaiian Shores, and we'll just stamp this right on our die cut image. And we'll do the same thing with the other bird. Wonderful. Could probably zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, and then there's two little hearts for the wings, which I think are just adorable. So we'll take these, and I'm going to stamp these little wings with limeade ice. Wonderful. So now our birds have some wings there. Now in our stamp set, there's also the beak and also the little eye for our birds. I'm going to take each one of these, and we're going to stamp with true black ink for this one, just so they stand out. Okay, so this one will go here. Lovely. And then this one we will stamp here. Wonderful. And our birds are done. Pretty easy. While we have our black ink out, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more stamping. Using my same true black ink, I'm going to ink up my hugs here. And we'll stamp this on white cardstock, and we will go ahead and die cut out our hugs. And then while we're die cutting, I'm going to be using the Love to Layer squares. There's this really pretty scallop. We'll take the two largest here. I'll take the scallop one. We're going to die cut that out with white cardstock, and then using some soft stone cardstock, I'm going to die cut out the largest square here. I have a little bit of die cutting to do and a little bit more stamping to do, and when I'm all done, I'll be right back. Okay, I have everything die cut and stamped, and I think we are ready to assemble our card. First, what we're going to do is take this panel, and I have all the X's and O's. Again, I said 5 of each, but we actually only need 4 O's. So 5 X's, 4 O's. We're going to go ahead and take our tape runner, and I'm going to evenly space our X's and O's on our white scalloped edge here. We're just directly adhering these. And I am just about done. And I think that looks good. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to press down really good. It's nice when you use a tape runner because you have a little bit of wiggle room. So that is our background panel. Now to create our little swag, what we're going to do is take both of our little elements. One of them I stamped with Hawaiian Shores, Limeade Ice, Hawaiian Shores. The second one I did the opposite. So Limeade Ice, Hawaiian Shores, and then Limeade Ice. What we're going to do is layer these together on the very end, just so it looks like a continuous pattern. And you can do as many or as these as you want. It makes it really fun. This is going to eventually go across our hearts here. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this panel, we're going to flip it around. I have a piece of fun foam that has adhesive backing to it. I'm just going to remove the release paper, add some fun foam behind here. We'll remove this release paper and add this to our soft stone panel. And we're just going to center this. Today's card is going to be a standard A2 size card. So it's 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to take my panel, flip it around, and using my tape runner, we're going to adhere this on top of our card base. We're evenly spacing it around the top area here. And I think that looks wonderful. I know I want my hugs to go here, but before we go any further, I'm going to stamp a secondary sentiment in our Lots of Hugs stamp set. There is one that says from me to you. So my sentiment will say hugs from me to you. And I'll take that, put that on an acrylic block. Now I haven't tacked this down yet. I'm just using it as placement, as a guide, because I'm going to stamp this. Let's add a little bit of adhesive behind here so it doesn't shift. Okay, and then using my True Black ink, I'll ink up from me to you. And I'm going to stamp this right underneath the hugs. Like so. Now I want a little bit of dimension to my sentiment, so I'm going to add some more adhesive around the entire back of my hugs. And I'm going to tack this down to that fun foam that I die cut out, just using the die. I'll flip this around, I'll add some adhesive behind here. And of course, if you want to use glue, you can. I'm going to take my hugs and I'll place this on my card here. And then we have our banner. I'm going to flip this around. We're going to add some small foam squares behind, not the end hearts, but the middle four. And then I'll also put a couple small foam squares behind each one of my little birds. Then we can add our little heart swag right over the top. And I think that's a good spot. After we have this adhered, we can go ahead and remove the release paper off of our birds. We'll put this little guy down here on the bottom. And then we'll put this one. I think this is a great spot for this. Now, of course, we need a little bit of sparkle, so I'm going to bring in my diamond stickles. And I'm going to go over, let's go over the limeade ice areas on the card. So that's the green here. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle to those hearts. And then that will finish off my card today for Papertrey Ink using the Tears of Cheer Valentine stamp set. Meant to be a coordination with the Tears of Cheer stamp set from last month's release, but it's great on its own also. I always like to say that these stamp sets are small but mighty. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day. We will see you again real soon. Goodbye.